Hey, it's another fat old white guy building guitars. How novel. Why is he doing this? What do guitars have to do with Alzheimer's? What's his motive? No time for puppets this time, kids. Too many setbacks, starting with the neck. It's a kit neck, and it needs to be beaten into shape. It's going to be a long process. One more time. Wood glue, fabric, varathane sanding sealer. For those who are interested, the water-based products work pretty well, although there were some odd diagonal cracks in the finish. There's a reason Texas Toast uses Simtex sanding sealer. The reason behind all this is because my father passed away from Alzheimer's last month. It runs in the family. There's no medical treatment for it. There's no cure. There's really nothing to do. The doctors offer you puzzles. Instead, I've decided to try to learn a new set of skills to make my brain a little more plastic. Skills like using a Japanese pole saw, for instance. Although the headstock shape is kind of primitive, I think it fits the shape of the guitar. The cheap Chinese kit neck has forced me to make some modifications and adjustments. Following are some hacks that I heisted from YouTube. The Great Guitar Build-Off unofficial competition is pretty fierce. There's God guitars, there's angel guitars, there's cow guitars, there's ill-considered facial hair, COVID haircuts. I had a chance to talk to Mike Learn when I was in Denver building my guitar. Most of you probably know Mike from his airbrush work or his guitar work. To me, he's the guy I used to sit across from in chemistry class in high school. He strongly advised me not to paint a guitar with an airbrush. I didn't have any choice. That's the only thing that I had available. I don't recommend trying it at home. The color's nice though. I like the purple. I don't know if you can pick up any of the pearl in my shop lighting. There's your airbrush problem right there. It makes tiny little swipes as opposed to like a paint gun that gives you big broad strokes. It's really tough to keep it even. I really don't recommend it. Mike doesn't recommend it, and he's an expert. Another setback, the cheap Chinese kit neck developed a weird crack in it that we of course smeared over with super glue. We'll address more of that later. In the meanwhile, I'm sure you recognize these tools that I stole from Guns and Guitars. Thanks, Dan. Fretwork is boring. We've seen it all 1,000 times. At least I spared you the 2 hours I spent using the steel wool to polish the frets. You're welcome. Oh, here's the solution for the super glue setback. We decided to cover the whole entire fretboard in polyurethane. I know people hate that, but what are you going to do? Let's drill some holes. This wimpy Harbor Freight drill is my only power tool, but you will see that it actually can do the job of guitar work. It probably shouldn't, but it can. Anybody else hate teeny tiny screws? Teeny tiny drill bits also suck. I still have one lodged in the body of that guitar. Haven't figured out how to get it out yet. I did manage to pull the other 3 broken drill bits out. And the cheap Chinese kit neck is now a thing of beauty. The fabric finish on the guitar is kind of hard to cut. It's almost like patent leather. And now, our next setback will begin. I got this trim unit from Angela, and well, you'll see. Another setback. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we were surrounded by fires that gave us the worst air quality in the world. It made it impossible to go out in my shop and work. Oh, there's that screw. Watch that screw. That screw's gonna be trouble. Let's see, we're gonna do some alignment here with some particularly vivid thread. And then we're gonna move on to attach the neck, which didn't really give me any problems for some reason. Oh, I'm lying. Here it comes. Thinking about it now, I should have changed the whole entire video title to Setbacks. But I teased it as motive, and I didn't want my 63 viewers to be disappointed. I opted to use that Chinese kit neck plate, not only because the finish is apparently fragile, but also because it's a little bit wider and it covers up that little mar we fixed. So there's like 2 days left to finish this thing, and it's finally looking something like a guitar. And now the very scariest part of the build comes up, at least for me, because of the huge drill bits and the very precise location for the bridge. Oh my god, that's a wimpy little drill with a great big drill bit! Oh! Aggression time. Yes, sir. And like magic, we have pickups. It actually took me a couple hours to cut the holes because certain pickups you need to trim the fabric really closely, and other pickups it doesn't matter so much. but you can't really tell until you put the pickups in and they don't fit or they look weird or whatever. Another weird thing about this fabric finish is that it really gums up your drill blades, your drill bits. Sometimes you got to pull them out after you get through that first layer and clean them off, or they just won't cut anymore. You see what I'm saying there? Now I enter into a hell I didn't even know existed. The hell that is soldering. That is wiring. It is hell. Unfortunately, I was unable to route the jack plate. I think that is because the jack goes in here, goes up to here. And there are a number of screws in the way. And I don't have time to fix it. I can't get the wires to the jack, so I'm done. I'm cooked. I mean, you can't have a guitar without an output jack. But then when I look at the thing, even though it's caused me a lot of misery, I just really want to see it done and I want to hear it. And just about when I give up completely, I come up with a completely asinine plan that I put to work. Not in tune. First time guitar build. First time soldering ever. I lost the saddle on my A string, but I'll have to get another one. Still some work to do. P90 is really noisy. But it works. It works. Victory. Alright. So how did I get it to work with only a few hours left before the deadline? I cheated. I wired the output jack into the control cavity, and then I used a piece of extra backplate to cover up the rest of it. It's held there with double-sided tape. But it works. It's ugly, and it probably should be changed. But it works.